pull the DAW down. Also, I'm using a lav mic, so that might be why. Is that? No, that's even worse. Okay. Hold on, let me switch. How about that? Is that? Oh yeah, that's much better. Posted something on Discord. Okay, hold on. Oh yeah, I was testing a different camera. Let me see how it actually looks. I'm gonna try the phone. Yeah, I don't know why the mic is so low on... Oh, I think I know why. I had the input down in OBS, but I also think I need to put it up. Well, that Unity. Let me try putting a little gain on the input. Check. Check one. Oh, that clips though. Let me take it down a bit. Check two. Okay. I should probably put a limiter on that too. Okay. Yeah, I was the other camera. Of course, now my that's not how it's supposed to be working. Okay, that's the EricS table. There we go. Yeah. I may get an A10 because this is painful. Although I don't know how the A10 is going to work with the wide. Thank you. It's the Oddspot tail air thingamajiggy. and so is that one. That one's the mini. It actually does the face tracking or head tracking, which is kind of cool. So, yeah, I was just gonna play around and yeah, that's what worries me. I could probably do like I could do the USB or Thunderbolt out of this into the widescreen and just take the HDMI out to the ATEM. That might work better. But monitoring it would be painful. I'd have to figure that part out. Or just get better with OBS. I'm still learning it. I mean, I know enough to do recording, but streaming is not something I've done much of. I do have a small monitor to the side here that I've got chat up on, but I suppose I could use that to monitor the switcher. Well, I've got a USB to HDMI thingy because I was playing around with something else. I've got a little Elgato HDMI capture thingy, and I was playing around with that just for shiggles. Also feel like I'm gonna whack my head into this mic. So right now, I have all the melodics done, and a starting. I don't know that that's going to be the starting drum beat, because if I go on to the second one, the drums kick out. So that ping pong sequencer, I'm going to throw that back on where I had it originally. I'd taken it off because I recorded the MIDI out of it, but it is. Yeah, they do. Because you can take the mini and put it into that, and there's a little USB adapter in it as well that you can use the remote with it. Otherwise, when you use the remote for the mini here, it takes over the keyboard, which is annoying. I have the remote and the little USB dongle that allows the remote to communicate with the camera. I don't know. I mean, I can use that at least for that and the two tail airs I got. Although cable length may be an issue. I don't know. Did I turn the other one on? No, I didn't. Okay. So what I have up now is the EricS table, and the image on the left side, upper left, is from the tail layer that's mounted on that side. I suppose I could move it around because the other one is just a simple Logitech webcam. So I could finagle that around. And that one also has a couple of Zoom PTZ options. I can go over there if I want to mess around with that. And kind of zooms in on the desk and looking at the mixer. Of course, the mic's in the way. But I don't really have a better place to put the mic because it's in the way no matter where I put it. Yeah, it does. I just need to get a couple of adapters, or not adapters, cables that go from a micro style HDMI to normal. It's not a standard mini to standard HDMI. It's like the micro, the old micro USB to competing standards are a pain in the ass. I'm gonna turn this off. Don't waste the battery. Yeah, but this monitor is huge. I should show you the monitor. Let me switch around again. Because the monitor's huge. See? Yeah, I mean, I get it because the camera's small and they needed a small adapter in it, a small connector in it. But yeah, I don't know if I can get them because where the mixer is, the table is pretty full. So yeah, I'm not sure how to. The mic is a struggle, or getting it. Maybe I just get a giant boom. Yeah, this is 42, if I remember correctly. I suppose I could use a different. I don't want to use a different computer because as I do everything on this one, it's the pain in the rear. Because I do have another monitor over there from my older monitor before I replaced this one, and I got it on my laptop. But I don't know that I want to deal with that. but let me show you that that ping pong generator. Actually, okay, now let me stop that. And solo it. I need to figure out how to zoom because that's hard to see. But it's pretty cool. I'm in minor pentatonic. There we go. There we go. Sometimes the neutrons get stuck when the notes are too quick together. It is. I'm still trying to figure it out. Playing around with the presets mostly. Like you can add more gate, take away gates, add them in, change the speeds of so you got little competing balls. I think you can turn them on and off. Like I said, I'm still trying to figure this out. So that, and then you can have it play itself, which is kind of funny. If you want, you can, set a score and let it play, and then it'll create a sequence as it plays, which I find really interesting. I haven't played around with that yet. I even think I read somewhere that you could hook a joystick up to it and you could play with somebody and create a sequence, which I don't know how practical that is, but that's kind of cool. Yeah, I know I can create a different scene in OBS that's zoomed in on a particular area, but I haven't figured that out. It may be easier to use a smaller monitor in the long run, and just use that monitor for the streaming and use the big one for composing. This little one I have over on the side here is a little too small for me. For anything that it would be detailed work. I may try it another day, flip it around so that I'm facing this monitor. Then I would probably mount the mic over on that side of the room, and try using the smaller monitor here as the primary streaming place, and put chat up on the big screen, leave the mic up on the big screen, or the camera, the mini on the face camera up on the big screen. I might try that next time. You'll see an interesting thing here. The way I have the neutrons are set up in a polychain mode, so I don't need to send MIDI to the other one because it's literally getting this. It's on the same channel, and they're in polychain, so it takes the multiple notes and divides them up. It's really fun to do that with the neutron, although sometimes it gets stuck. Behringer being Behringer, their MIDI implementations aren't the best. I'm hoping. Actually, I did see something about an alternate firmware for the neutrons. I might go check that out, see if it does any MIDI improvements. Oh yeah, mine is packed. What I might do, I don't know. I don't know yet. I don't want to mount a larger monitor here. This is a small, laptop size monitor, essentially. A portable monitor. It's even got a touch screen, but I don't like how it works. because it jumps around. It's not very precise. It's essentially a mouse touchscreen, which is dumb, but it was cheap. I'm not going to complain about cheap. But I'm just gonna start working on the drum beats for the rest of this. I'm just playing around, not really trying to do anything, serious stream wise. I figured I'd just start doing it and then figure out, how much talking versus composing versus just jamming I want to do. Yeah, the Pro 800 is pretty solid. That's, I got that here. And that's running some sequences from Bloom. They look really weird, but I mean, they're pretty cool. And all those echoey things are just the effects. I've got some of the noise engineering Versio module VSTs on here, and I've mapped out some of the controls for the Pro 800 just so I have them in front of me, so I don't always have to jump over to the big table to adjust some things. Well, that's just it. The Neutron doesn't really accept MIDI CCs, except it'll take mod, aftertouch, and velocity, and you can assign, but you're limited in how you can assign those. You can assign mod, aftertouch, and velocity to the filter, and then there's an assigned CV out that you can set another, whether it's mod, velocity, or aftertouch to that. So you have a second, CV source that's based off of those things. But otherwise, that's it. Everything else on the Neutron is internal. The problem that I've noticed is so you got a string of 16th notes. If they touch each other, sometimes the Neutron just doesn't regate for the next one. So I gotta just nudge them a little bit prior to the start of the next note. So there's slightly more of a gap than there would be if they were touching. Then it seems to work fine. I wonder if that's the... Yeah, you can see I did that here. These were originally all touching, and it really didn't like that. And even now, it struggles. Of course, some of that is, the fading in and out is the modulation on the filter that I got the LFO doing the filter stuff. No, because it doesn't regate. It's what it seems like. I mean, it's a limitation I work around by doing this. But if I were to... Let me go open up the filter a bit more. course, watch it work perfectly now, because you know that's how it always goes. You've worked enough tech support in your life to know that axiom. Oh, I also got to keep an eye on the storm. See if it. I don't really want to. Now the bad stuff passing way south of me. Okay. You can kind of hear it doing it. Because it really should be triggering more than it is. And I've got retrigger enabled on it, envelope retrigger. Now you hear it sort of doing it. Let me and then if I do this again and have them touch, some of them sound like they run into each other and not really gate. And I've got it, like I said, in both of them are in paraphonic mode. I've got two neutrons. Both of them are in paraphonic and polychain. So theoretically, I can get 4 notes of polyphony or periphony, whatever. I can get 4 notes out of it, which is kind of cool. Yeah, it just so I think it's something with their MIDI implementation not being accurate enough, or maybe MIDI in it. I don't know. It's a limitation that I've learned to deal with, because I love the synth otherwise. It is such a phenomenal little box, or pair of boxes. I would consider it, a top contender for one of my desert island synths. Just because it's, that, the Pro 3, and probably the OB6 I would take, on a desert island. Yeah, all of our storms are they're running through now. Fortunately, I mean, I've got light rain over me, but all the nasty red stuff is a good 15 miles south of me. Okay, so I'll go back to the I think you can hear it a little. Let me kill the panning for a second. Okay, so the right neutron, as far as what channels they're coming in on, I think that's doing all the high notes. There it goes. It just kind of lost itself. And that is doing absolutely nothing. What the heck? Oh, there it goes. So it's only getting the lower notes when there's multiples. It's, you know, the polychain stuff is I was about to say Microsoft. God, I've been dealing with Microsoft all day. I've just had a day of meetings. It's been rough. I noticed Starsky Car had a thing on the SEM, on the Behringer SEM, and its polychain was problematic as well. It's just how they've implemented it. It's poor. But again, you know, I guess it can give you some interesting stuff. It's just, it's a limitation you got to work through. Yes, there is, and I've got them set such that the one that's labeled R handles the high note, has the high note priority, and the other one has the low note priority. I've done it with not three neutrons, but 2 neutrons and the Model D that they have, and I put the Model D as last, so it would jump around all over the place. It was a fun little experiment, but it really was kind of difficult to get it to sound the way I wanted to. With the 2 neutrons doing it this way, it seems to mostly work, and if I pull the filter back like I have it now, it almost gives an illusion that it's gating correctly. So, you know, it works, and it sounds good, for the most part. And I only have a delay on one of them, just because when putting it on both of them, it just made it a little too messy. And I thought it would be kind of cool as a performance effect on the one that doesn't have the delay, to do the internal delay on the neutron as I'm, you know, messing around. I can bring that up and it'll add a little bit there without being completely overwhelming about having a delay on both sides. I had the delay originally just before the reverb here. But it was a little messy with both of them going into the same delay. So I figured I'd try it that way, and it seemed to work fine. Yeah, but otherwise things are good with the neutron. The other things I've got a DeepMind doing a little bit of a bass line, and then another Behringer doing kind of a counter bass line. The Op6 is doing I think it's just an 80s stab. I mean, come on, why not? And then Stepik is what had driven all of this other stuff. the DeepMind and the TD3. Op6 I just played in and then added and then stacked some things, and then quantized the hell out of it because I'm a crappy keys player. Yep. Yeah, it's all about the 80s stabs. I need to dig into that synth more. Right now I'm just using the presets because they sound good. But I need to dig into that one and the ModWave. ModWave's a little daunting to me, at least as far as programming it. I need to sit down one weekend with it and just figure the thing out. I mean, I can figure out Eurorack, I could figure that out. It's just a little daunting because there's a lot to look at as far as, sample management and everything else. And then drums, I'm just layering. I've got an RD9 that's not triggering everything. What the heck? All right, hold on. The night of weird MIDI issues. You were having those earlier this week. Also need to figure out chord management so I don't roll over my chords. Get them wrapped around the wheel. Oh, cool. I'm going to make sure I catch that. Because I need to learn that one a lot better. I got the general concepts of FM, but whenever I start to mess with it, it just starts to end up sounding really, really harsh to me. Although I tend to be ham-fisted with the controls and just, blah, everything. I think I need to learn subtlety with the Op6 and not be my normal ham-fisted self. Oh yeah, no, I know. It gets out of control really fast and ends up being just noise if you're not careful. But I've always been like, even playing guitar, more, more distortion, more volume, more. I need to, kind of reel that back in. No, why is it? Well, all right, I'm not gonna worry about it tonight. I'll troubleshoot it later. So I'll just use the rhythm. I like layering the RD9 under the rhythm because it gives the kick gives a little extra punch. Not punch, cut, because the kick sometimes on the rhythm can get overpowering. Let me turn this off and you can hear what I mean. It just like that boom. And then I just got to tame that a little bit in order to keep it under control and not muddy the mix. Yeah, I agree. But I've been, like I said, I've been happy with the presets that are on it, and I bought a preset pack from. Yeah, all about the bass. And it can get, I mean, the kick on there can get really extreme. This is a layer of the, so the Rhythm has synth engines for just about everything, and then you can layer samples on it, and that's, I think its superpower is you can layer the sample and the synthesized drums together, and it makes it really powerful. But the synth drums, again, can get overpowering really fast, and me being me, I'm like, crank it up, you know. So again, I gotta learn subtly. It's just, you know, how it is. I don't have any, actually, no, I don't have any real processing on this yet. Just some EQ and stuff. Just kind of clean up some frequencies, and then I'll sidechain the two basses to the kick at some point, once I get to where I want to perform this. And then I'll live stream that at some point once I practice it. I'll probably maybe do that Sunday. I don't know. See how far along I get in doing the arrangement and all that jazz. And I probably need to come up with a lead line somewhere, and some transitions and, you know, everything else that goes along with making music. Yeah, I agree with you. I'll layer synths together more so than, you know, so for example, bass lines, I tend to layer a couple of different synths, and squash them with a compressor, just to get, you know, the sound design capabilities done like that. But yeah, I don't tend to do much more than 7 or 8 instrument tracks total. I mean, buses and stuff, you know, 7 or 8 tracks that would produce sound. Because more than that, yeah, you're right, it tends to muddy everything up. Now, you know, I use the Eurorack for a lot of sparkle, you know, add-on stuff. I don't really consider that another instrument. That's just stuff that happens very faintly in the background, whether it's you know, the granular stuff that's on the Eurorack, or the funky delays or stuff like that. Or, you know, Data Bender. Data Bender is marvelous for stuff like that. So textural stuff I don't really consider as an instrument, and used sparingly, it adds a lot of flavor. I might actually try, you know what? I'm curious. Yeah, I mean, barring the MIDI stuff here, how many do I have going on? I've got, you know, the counter bass lines. I suppose the neutron could be the lead line. Chord stabs and the sparkles. Like, I guess that's what this would be. And yeah, once I get to where I'm arranging, then things will come in and come out, and what I do is I'll come in here and zero out something, rename that, and then I'll do launch actions, and then it'll insert, I may put the blank, up here instead of down here. And I may change it around, like on section 1, the neutron is blank, section 2, we've got the 2 bases, and, the neutron comes in, and, maybe cut this down to, I may zero out that and that, and just have that happen on occasion. Right now, I'm just, like I said, I'm just building this out, and when I get to a point where it's where I'm ready to do the arrangement, I'll start doing stuff like that, and get a little better, not a little better, but a little more minimal. Oh yeah, they are. A lot of my jams I'll do just that. I'll set up like 3 or 4 scenes, and like scene 4 is going to be like the quieter transition style scenes, and then the melodic elements I'll have go in a linear order, but the percussion and rhythm elements will be randomized to a certain extent, that the drums will drop out every so often, just based on the randomization of how the clips launch. And I usually will do with the rhythm, I'll do because you can have the 2 follow actions. I'll set it to 95% to go to the next, and then the last 5% will go to any, and so it'll pick anything from that's already existing, including the blank one. And I find that adds enough variety in the rhythm to make it more interesting. And the melodics can be kind of repetitive at that point, because you've got those the rhythm dropping out gives you that change out and that build up and drop. So yeah, this is what I would normally do. And then create some variations here. Maybe in this one, go all open and do that. Oh, wait a minute. Thought I duplicated that. Did I? I did. Okay. And then in this instance, take all of those out so we have a nice little drop. Good enough. So now there should be a little bit of element of random in here, and that'll add some life to it. I may change out the kit on the rhythm. I don't know that I actually like this kit with this music. And I need to probably find better patterns for some of the quieter stuff, because that double kick right there is maybe a little much for what I want to do, but that's part of the composing process. And yeah, I do the same thing. I'll sketch it out and jam it out here and use the move to launch different scenes if I feel like I want to do it that way or what, and record that to an arrangement, and then clean up the arrangement, and then use that as the basis for the performance. And I'll just play the arrangement and perform it from the arrangement and not from the session view. And I need to mix this better because the drums are awfully quiet. Up the gain a little bit on it. Yeah, I don't like that hi-hat. That's really harsh. All right, I'll figure out a different kit later. Oh, there's a... So are you in Virginia or Rhode Island, or... Because I know you go into DC a lot. There's a performing, twiddling knobs, and using the performance effects on either like the Octatrack. Things like that. That's what I mean by performing. Not, I'm not a live keys player by any means. I'm not. So, I'm just a wannabe keys player. Okay. I thought you were that in that area. So there's a synth fest up that way. I'll look. Maybe I'll take a trek up there in November. That might be a good little trip. Check it out, because down here there's really not much. Charlotte is a dead zone. North Carolina. The music scene here is just ambivalent. Particularly the synth scene. The local synth meetups are really haphazard and not consistent. Like the last one they had was in Columbia, South Carolina, and not in Charlotte. And it's the Charlotte Synth Meetup. I'm like, I'm not driving to Columbia, which is 90 minutes away, to hang out for a couple hours and then drive back at 4 o'clock in the afternoon. I don't want to get home that late. And yeah, I'm old, I guess. I don't know. I do okay on like the push. As far as that, playing keys, I can do it. But I like the control that editing the MIDI gives me. It gets me a little more precise. I may play in a rough sketch of something, quantize the hell out of it, and then put a groove on it. Use these things. The Ableton grooves are just phenomenal in my opinion for doing stuff like that. And I'll throw that on there. I'll throw the same groove on everything so it all kind of gels together. Yeah, I was never much of a cover player. I always played my own stuff in bands. We always wrote our own stuff. From REM songs to, some Grateful Dead here and there, to some folk tunes, to Rage Against the Machine. I played, and then to Sabbath and Deep Purple and some Ozzy here and there, and I've played it all, but most of the bands that I was in California, we were all trying to write our own stuff, had minimal covers. We had a couple of really good songs. I'll shoot you the Bandcamp where I got them up. Not Bandcamp, SoundCloud. We were a fairly large band. We were 6 members. Keyboardist, drummer, bass, mandolin, acoustic guitar, and then me playing electric guitar, and then 3 singers, all doing 3-part harmonies and all that other jazz. I thought we were pretty good, but it's a question of who you know, being and in luck, and not having a lot of band drama, which we had our. I was in a band with these people for like 6 years, and for the most part we all got along, but the keyboardist kind of bailed at one point, and then the other girl in the band, who was, because the keyboardist was female and she also sang, and then the mandolin player was female, she sang as well, and says, well, if she's leaving, I'm out. And that was it. The band just dissolved at that point because the acoustic guitar player was married to the mandolin player. So that was the end of the band. Well, I've been doing this an hour. I think I'm going to sign off here. I'm sure wifey wants her equal time. We usually have a couple time around 9 o'clock, give or take. Well, thanks for hanging out, Garen. I appreciate it. I'm going to try to make this a regular thing, and hopefully, show some of my production techniques, do some live jams here and there, and, just hang out and chat with people. Yeah, I'll make sure I save them. I'll end the stream and then save the profile and make sure all that's, because I use the same profile. That's smart. Yeah, I enjoy your Mondays too. I like the conversation. I like hearing your jams at first and chatting with other folks. So I'll probably end up doing something similar. It forced me to be a little more social. I'm such a homebody as it is, so it's good to make myself be more social. Anyway, I'm gonna sign off here. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you on Discord.